Champions Cup round 4 is done now. These final 3 games on the Sunday all completed. My Racing 92 magnet is falling to bits. We will see if it lasts the course of this video. But yeah, 3 games. All pretty much predicted wins by the bookies, as far as I'm aware. No, Newcastle were predicted to win that one, so that one is an upset. But yeah, I managed to see the third one in full. The other ones were the highlights. So for the first 2, yeah, I've had a look at the highlights, read some of the stats. You guys can let me know how those games went. For the third one, same idea, but I've actually seen a bit more of that one. So yeah, for the first one, Leicester, how many losses is that now? There's a few that they've had. 34 points to 11. Kind of a rough night. I mean, they did take the lead early, but it was for all of about 2 or 3 minutes. Ford got an early penalty, and then Irabin, oh man, I forget how to pronounce his name, went in for a try. Yeah, then the set piece move, Zebo had a break. Imhoff got his first try. Ford kicked another penalty, 14-6. Russell got a penalty. Vakatawa got his try. So, yeah, although Leicester did get their try before halftime, 24-11 halftime, and then second half, no points for Leicester. It was all Racing. Cole had a yellow card. Yeah, man, 34 points to 11. That last try, that one, Imhoff's second one, as a noisy van, going down the driveway. Imhoff's try was totally sold on the wound. It was a bonus point win. Yeah, pretty hard stuff. But from the 10 minutes of highlights that I've seen, Racing did seem to play a pretty exciting game, and at times, Leicester's defence not the best. They did get cut up a fair bit. I mean, Zebo caught the ball behind his back at one point, which was a pretty slick bit of skill. Russell kept finding those gaps. He's got a real knack for that, and he's done it 2 weeks in a row against Leicester. Man, that camera's at a bit of an angle, isn't it? I swear I'm not on a sinking ship. It's just the camera's at an angle. Yeah, I mean, May went close at one point with a potential try opportunity from a kick through if he'd been able to get hands on it, but it wasn't going to happen. And I mean, Racing at one point ran the ball out from their own 22. They had a 22 dropout, and Finn Russell just did that little thing where you just kick it, not even a meter over the line, just tap it over, pick it straight back up, and went pretty much length of the field. So that was the mood they were in, and yeah, it was a day for it. I mean, in terms of stats, position and territory, Leicester actually had more of the ball, 55%, and more territory, about the same. But you look at the run meters, 475 for Racing, 346 to Leicester. So they were making some meters. Penalties conceded, 10 to 13 in favour of Leicester, actually conceding 3 fewer. But, I mean, I noted down a couple of key ones. Leicester's set piece line-out was only 75%, so 1 in 4. Scrum 80%, so 1 in 5. Not ideal. Racing, both of them 100%. And from a stats video I did about the Rugby Championship, one of the key factors to getting wins was having solid set piece. Leicester didn't have that this week. And clean breaks. Remember I said Leicester had more of the ball? Leicester were able to get 7 clean breaks on Racing, but Racing, whatever it is, got 15 on them. And that's just not going to do, man. It was all, I guess, a bit easy in terms of the attack for Racing. So it's a bit disappointing. Leicester probably would have liked to have done a bit better. I mean, they were never favourites for this one, but yeah, you would hope at home that they would be able to put in a little bit better of a shift. But like I say, that final try to Imhoff really takes the score out. Beyond the 30s makes it look like a proper, well, a pretty, not quite a hiding, but at least a pretty comfortable win. If Leicester had been able to get that, maybe that May one, and then that held off for that Imhoff one, it might have looked a bit more respectable. But at 34 points to 11, it's just not a good look. You guys can let me know More about that one, like I said, I haven't seen the whole game, but that's 6 points in third. That's pretty much it for Leicester. Racing, on the other hand, 19 points first in their pool. Yeah, it's looking like a pretty good Champions Cup for them thus far. They're looking like a pretty sharp team and pretty entertaining as well from the brand of rugby they play. Next, Montpellier against Toulon. Once again, I haven't seen this one in full, just highlights. Montpellier getting the job done at home, as they were predicted to do. I think it's been a wee while since Toulon's had a victory over Montpellier in Montpellier, so it was going to be tough. For Montpellier was Serfontaine, Immelman, Giucelli, Pina, and Chichalava, and Gogodza for Toulon. So, I mean, 5 tries to 1. Pretty one-sided bonus point win. That pool, yeah, it's definitely not done and dusted, that pool. I mean, Montpellier at the minute are still sitting outside the spots to progress from that second place spot. They are, I think, 3 points behind Ulster, and right now Ulster are the bottom qualifying team. So the bonus point was definitely welcome to get them back on track, but they're not out of it, but they're going to need to keep putting things forward if they are going to go anywhere in the comp. To be fair, for this game, it looked pretty wet, as it has been in Europe for many of the games this weekend. The pitch, as the commentators kept mentioning it from that highlights package I saw, they kept saying how it was slow and it was heavy, so it wasn't helping things. But I mean, still to score 34 points, 5 tries, is a pretty solid shift. I mean, 2 of those tries from Montpellier came from the maul, so that's them playing to conditions. Toulon's try was like 1 meter out, phase after phase after phase, and they finally just got through. So wet weather tries, to be fair. Even by the end of the game, the ref was pretty much covered in mud. So, don't know what happened to him, that he was getting all muddy. Maybe had a trip to the dirt. But, yeah, 34 points to 13. Stain looked pretty good from what I saw of him. Immelman, it's another try. He's been in pretty good form. And that was just too easy. It was just kind of quick hands, space on the outside, 2-on-1. Try all day long. So, pretty hard night for Toulon. In terms of the stats, though, similar to the Leicester and Racing game, the team that lost, Toulon, actually had more ball, 55%. Some more territory, 55%. But the team with less ball had more run meters. So 413 to Montpellier, 352 to Toulon. And again, it's the clean breaks that are the killer. Toulon only managed to get 3, but Montpellier put on 9. So less ball, but doing more with it. Seems to be the story of that one. Whether Montpellier can kind of put some consistency together in this pool remains to be seen, but they've definitely kept themselves alive and pretty much knocked Toulon out of this. I seem to remember the commentator saying that this is the first time in a long time that Toulon's not made it out of the pool. So, yeah, they're not in the best spot right now. I guess we will see what happens to them going forward, but this has not been their year in the Champions Cup. Last one, Newcastle against Edinburgh. I got up at 4:15 to watch this one. I promise you, this is one of those times I woke up, my alarm went off, and I did not want to get out of bed, but I got out of bed. And thankfully, I got to see some pretty slick moves. My daughter is crying. She's not happy that I got up at 4:15. She was still sleeping at that time, fortunately. 21 points to 8. Edinburgh get it done. Only 2 tries to 1. Sinotti got 1. Johnston got 1, and Van der Merwe got 1. To be fair, all the tries were pretty class. Sinotti had a really, really big game. It was from the counter, like Edinburgh kicked it, and yeah, Newcastle just took the ball. Gonover was involved, Sinotti was involved. It was kind of winger-to-winger stuff, and they managed to score from the counter. They weren't able to convert, so it was 5-0 pretty early on. Sinotti had massive numbers. I mean, he had 4 clean breaks. 4 clean breaks. That's more than Toulon had in that whole game. 7 defenders beaten and 115 run meters. So he put in an absolute barnstorming shift. But Edinburgh's tries were also class. Like, it took them a while to kind of get those magic moments to stick. But Johnston's try was from a little kick through. He only just handled it. It was kind of a set move. And yeah, a little dinky kick over, and he was first man, kind of Johnny on the spot. He managed to get it, and Duhan van der Merwe showed some serious gas to burn on the outside to go in for his try. So, yeah, 2 tries to 1. The stats, I mean, Newcastle, to be fair, weren't helped by injuries because, I mean, Harris had a break early on, a breaking run, like a clean break, which was really slick. But he got injured. He didn't go off, but he looked pretty ginger for much of the game. Williams went off after about 10 minutes, so Ascot came on, and I thought Ascot actually looked pretty good. And then who else went off? One of the locks went off. Young went off, and Burrows came on. They didn't really have faith in their line-out from that point. Like, I remember Newcastle at least once or twice tapping when they had penalties, so that was interesting. And but yeah, those injuries really started to add up to Newcastle. So I feel like there was another one. Oh, Nagutha was off after like 15 minutes. So yeah, it was not ideal. I mean, last week they didn't have a full bench, so at least that was one step better. But definitely was not ideal prep for Newcastle to have 3 guys go off kind of before half the game was done. But I mean, stats-wise, possession and territory 50-50. Newcastle 505 run meters to Edinburgh's 254. That's a remarkable difference, seeing as the team with that much more ball lost. Tackling percentage, 82-79. Newcastle with the higher one. But perhaps the killer one for them was 14 penalties conceded to Edinburgh's 6. So Edinburgh kind of able to, keep the scoreboard ticking over with a few penalties as well. So, yeah, this puts... Oh man, the TMO at one point, I almost forgot to mention this. Kinghorn tackled Sonotti, who was everywhere. And it was just a tackle. I didn't even notice anything at the time, and then the ref stopped the game to have a look at with the TMO. And the ref saw it from his angle. I guess it looked like Kinghorn had gone in with the shoulder. But from the angle that the play was being shown, it was nothing. It was totally innocuous. The arm was partially wrapped. And it was kind of shoulder on shoulder. There was really nothing doing. The ref stopped the game, wanted to have a look. He had his first look. I guess at the angle he saw, he was like, that's dangerous. Is this going to be a yellow card or not? And he finally saw another angle and was like, oh no, that's fine. It's nothing. That's the kind of moment where the TMO needs to save the referee. He's got all the screens. I know it's a bad look sometimes on TV when there's a bit of indecision between the TMO and the ref, but I feel like he needed to say to him, there's nothing in it, just play on. It's shoulder to shoulder. I've got it on my screen. I've got a clear view. Play on. Or at least I'm going to show you this angle. It looks better because it went on far longer than it needed to. But yeah, there was nothing in it in the end. It was just totally play on. So yeah, I thought Edinburgh were better in the second half, but that, again, injuries to Newcastle didn't help. Penalties didn't help. Graham had 6 defenders beaten for Edinburgh, so that's also a pretty solid shift. Newcastle, 3rd in their pool on 8 points, so it's not all over, but I feel like their priorities are probably going to go to the Premiership. For Edinburgh, they are 1st in their pool, 15 points. By no means a sure thing, but have put themselves in a really good position going forward. So we'll see if they are able to keep up the good work. Apparently it had been a while before, since they got an away win, so they have that here, so congrats to them. But yeah, overall pretty good. It's like 5 o'clock in the evening here. That 4 o'clock wake up is starting to catch up with me, but I will have a look at the comments tomorrow for any that come through. So you guys let me know how you thought the games went, kind of key moments, key guys. As I said, I haven't seen those 2 games in full, so any detail on those would be appreciated. How do you think these teams will go going forward in the new year? Obviously, there's a bit of a break between now and the next lot of games, but there's still a few good ones to be seen in the new year, and some of them, to be fair, will be dead rubbers from this point because some of the teams are effectively out. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.